Welcome back, guys. I am out here in the driveway with the new SS Slack High boat here next to me. I'm really excited to get out fishing on it. Haven't had a chance yet. DMV was a total pain. Even more so now because you have to make an appointment. So I just got all that done. I got a little work to button up on the transom, and she's going to be ready to fish. So I'm excited about that. More to come on that. But today, this video is all about the Brood X Cicada. I couldn't take it anymore. The peer pressure got to me. If you guys are tuned in to the YouTube fishing scene at all, or get any magazines, I'm sure you've heard all about the Brood X Cicada. If you've been living under a rock or you're in another country, you don't know about it. It's one of the 17-year periodic cicadas that's hatching really heavy this year. Here in New York, we don't even have any Brood X cicadas, but they're mostly down south. We do have some other broods of periodic cicadas here, but no Brood X. But anyway, I'm still going to get in on the fun. I'm not letting the year pass without getting in on some Brood X action. So what I was thinking I could do is paint a lure with a Brood X pattern with the airbrush and see what I could come up with. Now I started thinking, so obviously where these things are hatching really heavy, no doubt the fish are using them as a food source. If these things are, you know, falling off the trees into the water, I'm sure bass and other fish are hammering them. So I was thinking, if a fish is targeting this thing, like, what's it gonna look like? So if a cicada is to fall in the water, I'm guessing it's gonna be flapping its wings, kicking its legs, just trying to get back to shore like most insects do. Grasshoppers, crickets, they're all the same way. So right away, when I thought about, you know, what kind of action am I looking for, I thought wake bait right away. So I picked up some wake baits and I came up with what I think is a pretty cool pattern. And so we're gonna start off down in the paint lab. Now, I didn't practice this pattern at all. I haven't done it before. I just kind of had an idea in my mind, made some stencils and went for it. So we're gonna head down in the paint lab first, and I'm gonna walk you through how I painted the pattern, and then we're gonna take it fishing and see if anything wants to eat a Brood X. Got our offshore angler wake bait in the vise here, and we're going to try and turn it into a cicada. So I'm going to start off with some titanium white, and I'm going to mute out that black down the back and give us a white base coat to start laying some color on this. Now I'm going to do the fluorescent orange with a few drops of opaque red. Give me that flame orange that I love. And I'm going to lay that down most of the bait. I'm going to leave some of the gold on the belly, because if you look at the periodic cicadas, they do have some gold on the belly. So I don't have to paint the whole thing. But I am also going to mute out that black behind the gill plate. Initially I thought I could maybe work that into the wings, but I ended up changing my mind and hit some white over that and then some orange. Now I'm going to put a coating of this crystal clear acrylic coating, 1303 from Krylon. It's a great mid coat, and what it does is it protects your previous paint layer if you're doing stenciling. So I put the mid coat on there, it dries quickly, and then using a wing pattern I custom cut here, transferred it to some masking tape, and I have the masking tape laid down. We're going to put our wings on. I'm going to start with some white again, and then we'll do some fluorescent chartreuse. When you use masking tape, you get a really nice clean edge, and it's great for doing detail work. And I also have my pressure turned down at this point to around 10 psi. So I'm going to lay the white down first, because that's really going to make that fluorescent chartreuse pop. Now I'm going to use one of my stencils from Anarchy Stencils, and I'm going to lay a pattern down on the wings and try and make the wings look a little more realistic. So I'm going to start with some iridescent gold. I'm going to lay a layer of that down, and then I'm going to put some fluorescent orange over that. There's our gold. Going in with the orange. I'm going to pull the tape and you'll see that nice clean edge I was talking about. And because I put that acrylic, clear acrylic mid coat down, that's protecting that orange layer beneath. If I hadn't done that, I would likely be ripping some of that orange paint off when I was pulling that masking tape. So I got a good base down for the wings. Now I'm going to start doing some counter shading, same way I like to do my fins. I'm going to start with a little sepia and do the top side. And then I'm going to come in with some more of the flame orange and do some counter shading on the bottom of the wing. So there we go. I'm happy with the way that looks. Shading on the wings looks good. That's what I was going for. Now I'm actually going to use some lure tape. And this is an idea I came up with. I thought it turned out really cool. This is like a clear iridescent kind of lure tape that they would sell for salmon spoons. I think it's made by Witch Tape, but I just cut out the same wing pattern out of that and I lay that right over that paint. So I think that turned out pretty cool. I really like that iridescent look and the texture. I think it looks just like a wing. Let me know what you guys think about that in comments, but I thought that turned out pretty cool. So put some masking tape over that now to protect the wing, and I'm going to go on and do my body segments. Again, this is a custom stencil I cut just for this lure and transferred it to some masking tape, and I'm going to go in with some carbon black, and that masking tape is going to cover up the orange and give us our body segments. After I get the black down, I'm going to put some of this color shift paint down too. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But that color shift paint is going to give us a really cool effect over top of that black. So now I got the black down, and I'm going to start laying on that color shift, and the camera doesn't pick it up really well. You'll see it better later. But that color shift over top of black, you can see it gives it kind of like a little green, copper, depending on which way you're looking at it, and really match the Brood X Cicada pattern that I was going for, I think. So now I'm going to pull the tape, and our orange is going to kind of start to define our body segments, the head, thorax, and abdomen. But I know it looks really sharp, contrasty here now, but I'm actually going to go in and mute a lot of that orange out. By the time I'm done, it'll just be some light striping on top. So there we go. I muted a lot of our orange out. That was more the look I was going for. And now I'm going to pull the tape on the wings. After I get the tape off the wings, I'm going to go back in with some of the fluorescent chartreuse and do some accents along with the orange on the body segments, make it look a little more realistic on the back. And I just used a stencil that I cut myself and just laid it in there, just kind of overspraying some on the stencil, some on the body of the bait, and just kind of accent that for more of the insect look with the head, thorax, and the segments of the abdomen there. The orange is still there, it's muted out, and it's kind of accented with that chartreuse. Now we're gonna do the eyes, and these Brood X Cicadas have these really cool, like bright orangish red eyes, and we're gonna custom paint those ourselves. I'm gonna start by just laying down some eyes on masking tape to hold them in place, and then I'm going to hit them with some white and put some of the flame orange over the top of that. It's going to end up with these really cool bright orange eyes. I'm going to lay those in place. I'm going to put a dab of gel super glue in place to hold the eyes. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you think. I think it turned out pretty good. I was pretty happy with it, especially for my first crack at painting a cicada pattern. And now I'm going to put some epoxy on it. I'm using the Alumilite UV, so we'll go ahead and brush a nice thin coat of that on, and then when we got it on the turner here in front of the UV light, you can see it really gets some cool effects from that fluorescent paint. And you can also see the patterning under the wings. It's always cool to look at these things after you paint them in UV light. Kind of interesting. So I think it looks cool. Let me know what you guys think. And now we're going to see if we can catch a fish on it. Heading out early. See if we can stick a bass before work here. Got our Brood X Cicada lure. Wake bait. See if we can get a little top water action here early morning. There she is, boys. There she is. Look at that. It's a great hit, man. Nice hit. A top water hit. Early morning. Nothing better. Nothing better. A little largemouth.